Today, I want to share a story. Though it is about a video game, I learned two huge lessons in this game that would lead to me making millions of real money dollars. And I wanted to share the story and then the lessons with you. Now, it's 2003. I'm in a small apartment in humid and hot Sacramento, California during the summer. Now, I've been working 50 to 100-hour weeks at my new job with Accenture, but I've been doing something on the side. You see, there's a new type of video game, a massive multiplayer online role playing game. This is the early days of the internet, really allowing kind of mass collaboration on video games like this. And in my free time after work, I'm slaving away in this damn game, mining rocks with my space lasers. And in the game, there are other ways to make money in the game, but mining with the lasers, this was one of the most profitable and consistent ways to earn money. And it was fun and it was rewarding, but I couldn't really seem to get ahead. I'm with a cute little corporation of about 8 people, a couple girls, some guys, mostly guys, where we work together and we're earning about 3 million in-game currency per day. Now, working together for about 6 hours. So the night shifts with good fittings will cost about 40 times that. And it just feels like we can't get ahead. Now, one of my corp mates is a bit crazy. And he and I talk about how there must be better ways of really getting rich in this game. We know that there is deep space, but it's super risky. And we've heard stories of people getting really expensive ships blown up in a heartbeat, with months and months and months of work turned to dust by players who are space pirates and love hunting other players. Fast forward 6 months to New Year's. Now, most people are out celebrating, but my friend and I have a plan. We've learned that most people get blown up going to deep space at certain choke points. So if we can make it through those choke points, we can get into deep space where the riches really are. Now, our plan is to log in and make it through the checkpoints on New Year's while most everyone else is out celebrating. So it's finally New Year's, and I tuck my wife in bed and I turn my undivided attention to our plan. I crack my knuckles as the game loads up, and then my heart really starts racing. First a little bit, and then a lot. I can just feel it going crazy. In my mind, I'm thinking, this is really dangerous. Now, I've been playing for about 9 months, and I had been blown up exactly twice in the 9 months playing. And when you get blown up, you lose everything you were carrying with you. Now, as the game loads up, I had positioned myself in space right close to the scariest choke point. So I'm in safe space, and we're good there. But just one leap away is pure and utter danger. Now, little scenes of the rebels from Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, where they're flying over the Death Star and being shot down by TIE fighters, comes into my head, even though Eve's gameplay is not even really like that. Now, I'm in a ship that took me over a month to earn. And I look down at my wrist, and my wrist is just shaking as it tries to hold the mouse. My fingers are trembling as I stare at my hand holding the mouse, trying to make it steady. And my friend is also online and stationed right next to me. As I pick up the cold plastic headphones and put them over my ears, I adjust the cheap microphone to where my buddy can hear me best. Are you ready? My voice trembling a little bit. Hell yes, I'm ready, he says, unfazed and seemingly unworried. Now, I don't want to show how stupidly nervous I'm feeling, but I think you could probably tell. I don't hear any of that in his voice. We launch from the spaceport and jump to the gate that is about to take us into unprotected space. Here we go. Now, I don't know how many pirates are waiting on the other side of the gate till we jump through it. Now, sometimes there are 20 or 30. In fact, often at the time there were 20 or 30. But we're about to find out. Now, what it looks like at 11 p.m. California time on New Year's, I had no idea. We jump through, and immediately we see 3 ships sitting there waiting like predators. Now, when you first jump through the gate on EVE Online, especially at the time, your ship is invisible till you start moving. We both look around, scanning to make sure we don't see any other ones. Just 3 isn't bad, but they are massively dangerous ships. He gives a countdown for us to click to jump to the far gate on 3. And once you make that click, your ship starts moving as it prepares to jump. And at that point, you are completely naked and vulnerable. They see you, they can lock onto you. If they can get you, this is where the danger is, because they can lock on and shoot off their device to cripple your engines, and then you're dead in the water. Now, both of us appear at the same time, which maybe caught them off guard a bit. And I get the notification that 2 ships are trying to lock onto me. Now, my ship is picking up speed, but I have no idea if this is fast enough. I had spent my entire time on EVE so far trying to avoid this type of situation. And then suddenly I'm jumping through space to the far gate, seemingly safe so far, but they're in hot pursuit coming right after. I hurry and click to jump through and make sure to be ready to jump again at the next gate. Now, if we can just make it through the next few gates, which are all bottlenecked, they won't know which way to continue to follow us. My heart is racing. Remember that scene from Jurassic Park where they're driving the Jeep with a huge monster behind them? Well, we had huge monster enemies right behind us breathing down our necks, and you could feel it. Now, neither of us are talking much, just trying not to miss a single movement that might slow us down, where we would be caught like prey that's been knocked to the ground and then completely unable to get away like predators. And they can, at that point, take their sweet time. Well, the final jump comes and the predators are right behind me. They've been catching up. I jump through. I have the next gate already mapped out. And as soon as I'm through the gate, I jump to one of the 7 different gates in that system. And I see them delayed on choosing and trying to figure out which gate to jump to. As I'm jumping away, their ships slowly start moving, which means they got like 10 seconds or so, 5 to 10 seconds before they even jump. So as I dash ahead, now jumping permanently out of their grasp, I'd seen my friend who had gotten a few seconds ahead jump away even faster than I did, and I knew we were free so far. The biggest of the fears already out of the way. Now, we spent the next 10 hours that day exploring in deep, quiet, dangerous space, which was almost pirate-free in those hours. We found 3 sectors where scanning, we found such rich resources like we had heard rumors about, but we weren't even sure if those rumors were real. Now, over the coming months, I died at least 7 times. But I'd learned to manage the very risky space so that my gains were 10x from what my losses were. One day, I realized I was one of the richest players in the game now. I sat reflecting on, like, how could I be so rich? I'm actually just a normal person. Versus, like, all these other people in the game. I met people that are, like, super smart, like, why doesn't everyone do this? And I had this feeling, call it a premonition, call it whatever, but I just felt deeply that this game was like life in some ways. The answer to me of how it'd be like life, I didn't know. I just had that feeling. Now, there are some risky chances, which if you learn to mitigate those risks, you can make so much more than you lose. But only if you become one of the best at mitigating the serious risks out there. Isn't that what we do in crypto investment? I mean, crypto investment is just early blockchain business investing, and not in the companies themselves, in the token associated with the company. Now, Most don't actually learn to mitigate those risks, though they might dabble in the space. They might even try the risks once or twice. But without spending the time learning to take smart risks, and they get burned, and they'll decide that risks are bad for them, and they'll go back to average, mediocre returns, which leads to average lives. The great rewards will only go to those who take great chances, but we're smart enough to learn to balance those risk outs. So they are only taking the smart risks. Because isn't that what we do in crypto? Now, and you don't have to go this route. Look, this is what I focus on crypto. You can watch all my YouTube videos for free. And I would particularly focus on the last 2 years. Why? I've now been in this for 8 years. So if you skip forward the last 2 years, even more lessons learned and under the belt. However, if you want a faster way to go, take my Zero to Crypto Hero course. There's a link to that below. And for those that have high value on your time and you're investing good amounts of capital in crypto, you really want to take that course. It is worth every penny that you pay for it. And there is a 50% off code below where the link is. So make sure you use that code. Now, another realization I had is that I didn't do this alone. It only took one person for me to run with to bounce ideas off and learn lessons off at the beginning. But then we met some more in deep space, made some more friends, and I learned so much more. We ended up joining a corporation of people that were mitigating those risks. And they were the ones, they weren't the pirates, but they controlled that area of deep space and made good friends with them, made good money with them together, helping them accomplish their goals as well, while becoming one of the richest individual players in the game. So it takes at least one person to run with, but then later even more. And that's actually been my crypto journey, was in the bear market of 2018 through 2020. I really only had one friend locally to where I was living who was deep in the weeds with me, researching and buying undervalued cryptocurrencies. Later, I know so many more and have learned so much more, but that's what it took to get started. And isn't it funny that it was the same in the game as it has been in crypto investment? Now, there's one bonus lesson for you, those that are here. Video games are going to have more money involved with them than you can imagine. Now that blockchain embraces full ownership and gaming is beginning to embrace blockchain gaming, there will be people running top guilds or top clans or top corporations in the top massive multiplayer online role-playing games that will make millions of dollars per year within that game. Like, not in-game money. We're talking real money earned from things that they're doing in managing their corporation or their guild and collaborating with other people, essentially guild members, that the people running those effective guilds will make crazy money, even some positions within the guilds, and maybe even some really smart individual players that get really good at making money in the games that will now be transferable into real life money like it never has before. Now, early investors as well in some of these games will make millions, if not tens of millions. Now, in 2019, January 2019, there was a new game, blockchain game. It wasn't out yet, but it launched this idea that they were going to have land in their game. By owning the land, you had some special things. Amazing idea. And I bought $4,100 worth of land in that game. And for the next 2 years during the bear market, the price absolutely got devastated on that land until it didn't. And in the bull market, that land became worth a literal fortune, like a massive fortune. I sold at 100x, so $400,000. But had I held just a little bit longer, it went an additional 30x from there for a total of $12 million. Now, are you starting to see how valuable real ownership of video game items can be? It's going to be huge. So make sure you're running with the right people. Make sure you're interacting with the right people so that you're learning how to mitigate the risks, so that you're making smart decisions, because smart decisions in the crypto investment space can be so valuable. In your bad decisions, you will lose everything. All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all soon. Stay tuned.